Thus, the French revolutionaries looked to ancient sources and pure reason for law, rather than to the more immediate heritage derived from medieval times. Napoleon's armies spread the Code Napoleon through much of Europe, where it remained long after his troops withdrew. Similarly, Europeans spread their law throughout the world, and this influence persisted long after the colonial empires collapsed. The civil law tradition, as it is called, predominates in most of Western Europe, Central and South America, the parts of Asia colonized by European countries other than Britain, and even in pockets of the common law world such as Louisiana, Quebec, and Puerto Rico. The common law tradition, which originated in England, prevails not only in Great Britain, but also in Ireland, the United States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and the parts of Africa and Asia that Britain colonized, including India. Besides these two great traditions, the unique history of each country puts its own stamp on the law. For example, Japan, which was never colonized, voluntarily adopted a code that draws heavily on the German civil code, while yet remaining distinctively Japanese. In much of the Middle East, Islamic law blended with or displaced the law of the European colonists. In Eastern Europe, communism bent the civil law tradition to its own purposes, and now the post-communist regimes are trying to straighten it. The common law and civil law traditions differ significantly with respect to how judge-made law is justified. Common law judges traditionally justify their findings of law by reference to precedent and social norms, or by broad requirements of rationality presupposed by public policy. Civil law judges traditionally justify their interpretation of a code directly by reference to its meaning, which scholars tease out in lengthy commentaries. Because common law judges rely relatively more on past court decisions, and civil law judges rely relatively more on the words in the statutes, the common law system is based more on precedent than the civil law system. The difference in the pattern of justification affects the training of lawyers. The common law method is taught by reading cases and arguing directly from them, whereas the civil law method is taught by reading the code and arguing from commentaries on it. All such generalizations about the difference between the two traditions, however, seem simplistic relative to the subtlety and complexity of reality. For example, although the United States is ostensibly a common law country, the American states have tried to obtain greater uniformity in commercial law by enacting the Uniform Commercial Code. Deciding disputes that fall under the Uniform Commercial Code in America has many similarities to deciding disputes that fall under the French Civil Code. Additionally, the American Law Institute, an organization founded in the 1920s, meets periodically to restate the law as it is emerging in the various states.